Baseball prospecting can feel like a guessing game. 1,000 names, 100 products, and no clear way to tell a real opportunity from hype. At SlabMath, we've built a repeatable framework for it. Not a crystal ball, a set of rules that tilts the odds in your favor. In this video, we're covering which products actually matter, the 5 rules we use to evaluate a prospect, and the timing window that most collectors miss completely. Let's get into it. Before you start chasing names, you need to know which products actually matter. In baseball, the prospect conversation starts and ends with Bowman. Specifically, you want cards that carry the first Bowman designation, a player's first licensed cards. That stamp carries weight, and it drives a meaningful portion of a prospect card's long-term value. Now, not every Bowman product qualifies. Bowman's Best, for example, produces beautiful cards, but they don't carry the first Bowman designation, which puts a ceiling on long-term performance. For that reason, we don't mind skipping it. So for starters, stick to the 3 major Bowman releases when you're prospecting: Bowman Baseball, Bowman Chrome, and Bowman Draft. Each of these carries the first Bowman designation for a player's debut card, which is exactly what you're hunting for. Bowman's Best sits outside that group. Gorgeous cards, but no first Bowman stamp, so its long-term ceiling is capped. Keep your focus on these 3 releases and you're already ahead of most collectors. We've distilled our approach into a handful of rules we come back to every year. None of them are foolproof, but over time, they'll sharpen your edge. Here's a quick look at all 5 before we dig into each one. Pre-draft media buzz is a signal worth tracking. Age is everything. We stick to players 22 and under. Size matters, but only to a point. Concentrate your dollars on first Bowmans, autos, and numbered parallels. And the hobby gives position players more runway than pitchers. Let's break each of these down. Rule number 1. If the media is paying attention before a draft, you should too. Shohei Ohtani, Bryce Harper, Paul Skeens. These are all players we were hearing about long before they had an MLB team. The players who generate national media attention before they're drafted tend to carry that energy into the hobby for years. That pre-draft buzz is a signal worth tracking. If ESPN is running a feature on a high school kid, that's usually a good sign. Rule number 2. Age is everything. When buying singles, we stick to players who are 22 or under. It might sound arbitrary, but it isn't. Younger players have the runway to chase the milestones the hobby values most: 3,000 hits, 500 home runs, the kind of numbers that define careers and drive long-term card markets. A player who doesn't reach the majors until 25 or 26 isn't disqualified, but their ceiling for all-time greatness is much narrower. Rule number 3. Size matters. To a point. Taller players can typically throw harder and hit with more power due to the leverage their larger frames create. But can and do are 2 very different things. Size is not a guarantee. If we're choosing between 2 prospects, we'll lean taller more often than not, but we never treat it as the deciding factor on its own. Rule number 4. Stick with first Bowmans, autos, and numbered parallels. Concentrate your dollars on cards that carry most of the hobby value. Generally, that's first Bowman cards, autographs, and numbered parallels. That's where the hobby pays attention, so that's where the upside lives. A base chrome parallel of a player who's been grinding through AA for 3 years isn't going to move much, no matter how much you like the player. Rule number 5. The hobby gives position players more runway. Pitchers can flame out faster. The durability concerns are real, the injury risk is higher, and the hobby adjusts quickly when a pitcher's stuff regresses or the UCL gives out. Position players tend to get more benefit of the doubt and more time to figure it out. Look at how long it took the hobby to fully write off Jason Dominguez. Despite the setbacks, collectors held. That patience is far more common with position players. And a companion to that rule, call it Rule 5A, draft slot buys patience too. A first-round pick who struggles in year 1 is still a first-round pick. The organization believes in him, the hobby believes in him, and collectors give him time. Grayson Rodriguez is a perfect example. He was an early first-rounder with big stuff and an uneven path to the majors, but the hobby never fully bailed because the draft pedigree kept optimism alive. A 6th-round flyer who stumbles doesn't get that same grace. Here's where a lot collectors leave money on the table. Hype peaks around a product's release date. A hot prospect gets attention, prices spike, and almost on cue, the next product drops, and the hobby moves on. That cycle happens every single year. Our advice? Target singles from the last 3 releases, but not the most recent one. When 2026 Bowman hits shelves this spring, the conversation will shift almost immediately to Ethan Holiday. That's when prospects from 2025 Bowman Draft, 25 Bowman Chrome, and 25 Bowman start to cool. Players who were getting attention 6 months ago are still the same players, but the market's already looking ahead. That's your entry point. Remember last fall when everyone was chasing the A's two-way sensation Shotaro Mori? Check out his market now that there are almost 2 more major Bowman releases behind us. Don't worry about being the first to pick up on a prospect. All you have to do is get his cards before they start talking about calling him up. Baseball prospecting rewards patience and punishes urgency. The collectors who do it well aren't chasing the next spike. They're identifying windows before the market catches up. Find the right products, target the right timeline, know what you're buying and why. The prospect pool right now is deep enough that real opportunities are sitting at discounted prices. You just have to know where to look. If this framework was helpful, subscribe to SlabMath for more breakdowns like this one.